Hey there, everyone. This is Jawan. After that major cutscene, now you've seen the backstory of the game. This is Locke's Quest. This is one of my favorite games of all time, actually. As you can see, the screen's a bit different than what I usually do. When I play DS games, usually nowadays I play them. I record them in two screens and then I put them into one. But with this game, the way it was, I said that the tutorial I'll at least show both screens, so that way I can at least get all the tutorial stuff out of the way, and then I don't have to show, and then the rest of the game will be one screen. As you can see, the game is used, it uses the touchscreen to move around. It reminds me of the Zelda games on the DS. Anyway, Locke's Quest was originally released in about 2008. It was from the creators of Drawn to Life. If you don't know what Drawn to Life is, then Drawn to Life is a series, is like two games created by THQ that were all in relation to the gimmick of creating your own character and then using that character to draw things in your own adventure. It's kind of mediocre in my opinion. I don't really like Drawn to Life too much. The whole character creation thing doesn't really work for me. However, another game that those guys made was Scribblenauts, which is a very good game. Scribblenauts and Scribblenauts 2, I believe, were both very good games. I don't know if Scribblenauts... I believe Scribblenauts 2 because Scribblenauts 2 is a game that I don't know if that's the name of it. And as you can see here, we're getting we're seeing a scene from this night, and a random black guy. I hope he's wearing blue, so he's not in red, so I guess he's not supposed to. Oh crap. Well, this doesn't look good for him. Run, nigga! No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that's Locke, the guy in the yellow with the blonde hair and the yellow scarf. He also has on the blue shirt and even though his character model doesn't show it in the dialogue, he supposedly has a small I guess you could say shoulder pad, and also in the character art he has a red scarf. I don't know what happened with that. Anyway, this is the build mode. The game is it's called a strategy game, and I guess you could call games like this strategy. I usually just call them tower defense because that's what they are. But yeah, with being a strategy game, it's tower defense. And so if you don't like tower defenses, you're not going to like the game. I don't find tower defenses bad, but they can get repetitive. As you can see back there, the game was showing us that at the top screen what it was that we needed to do, and basically you'll see at the top screen on the right side, on the screen with the two screens showing, that there is a number showing there, and next to that number is a small little flame looking thing, blue flame. That blue flame is the representation of Source. If you saw back in that cutscene earlier on, Source is a resource that is used by this group of soldiers called Arcaneers. Arcaneers are basically a mix between a engineer and I don't know what the arc is supposed to represent. I know that they're supposed to be engineers, and with being engineers, they're kind of supposed to do things like build walls that are used to defend against enemy attack. The enemies in this game, we'll be seeing them pretty soon, and we just finished basically the tutorial of the build phase of the game. Every day you'll have a build phase, and every day you'll have a battle phase. We're about to get into our first battle phase soon enough. And now we're getting some nice little brother-sister relations between Locke and Emmy. Wait, relations? Don't take that the wrong way. Oh hey, it's the black guy. He's not dead. Thank God. You know, last thing we need is another racism card, and we don't need Al Sharpton to go and say, this game is racist. Well, he's out for the count. Oh, getting beat up by robots? I think that everyone feels good after that, Rock. His wounds are opening up. Ooh. This game was rated E what? E10 for kids 10 and up. Clockworks. Invasion. Try to move. We're getting help. Some people might not like the character models in this game because of the way that they look. I personally enjoy them. I think that the character models look very nice, and they look kind of childish, like they should be, because it's a kids game. It lets children at least see them and like them the way that the characters look, and the character art looks good. Although some of them don't look the same, like how Isaiah, the black guy right there, he has a and I say black because I don't know the country that this is supposed to be technically coming from. It's technically, I guess you could kind of call it Europe, but yeah. Anyway, the black guy there, he has like this blue strap on the bottom of his shirt and a white shirt on and white pants. Yeah, in his character art, he has a full blue shirt with a small insignia on it. Now, of course, the insignia I don't expect to be there, but the shirt is white and blue, not just blue. This is the fighting part of the game. Basically, lock auto attacks whatever you've locked onto. Locked. Just making up puns today. Lock auto attacks whatever you've locked onto, and he will keep attacking until the enemy is dead or until he has fallen in battle. This tutorial doesn't really give a great example of what's going to be happening later in the game, because as you get later and later into the game, the enemies are going to start attacking, are going to be chasing after Locke himself, and they're not going to just sit there and let themselves get killed. Clockworks work off of a resource called Source. Like I've mentioned before, with you building with Source, they also run off of Source. This is the way that you get your resources in the game in order to build and defend your structures and whatever you're defending, because with tower defense you're usually defending something. It's not like the usual tower defense where you I'm sorry if I'm making a bit of noise with my mic, but it's not like the usual tower defense where you have to it's just a giant row of towers and stuff where they just keep coming. No, it's like walls are up, and this is it. This is the last line of defense before the enemies get to wherever you are. And this is the way that Arcaneers fight. They fight based off of defenses compared to themselves, because they themselves are not strong. Locke is probably one of the strongest Arcaneers in the game, even stronger than the leader of them. But, well, debatably stronger than the leader of them. Well, we'll see later if he is, but for now, this is the true build phase. Basically, the game runs off of grids, and you have to put your blocks into the gridded area that would fit in. The grid is it's okay, it works well. However, sometimes the double geometry gets in the way of your grid, and so you won't be able to see that, oh, I can't put something there, and you waste 10 seconds in your build phase to check to see that you can't do that, you can't put something there. Also, if you're worried that I'm not talking about what's going on in the story and stuff, then don't worry about that, because after this episode and maybe 2 more episodes, I mean, the game is long, so I had to cut out a lot of stuff, but as the game goes on, I'll be less tutorial-ish, and I can actually start talking about the story and what's going on and how my feelings about it. But for now, I'm just explaining stuff, just in case the person who's watching doesn't want to watch or is listening in. Not want to watch, but is listening in. Anyway, we just built our first turret, and yeah. Once you research a turret, you can actually use it, and said turret is really good to use during these sections of the game, because whatever you've just recently built is more than likely what you need at the time. Later on, we'll be getting more different types of turrets, turrets that are enemy specific as well, and we'll be getting into other forms of forms of Arcaneer use. which are things like traps and other stuff. If you played the game Orcs Die, you'll really know what this is all going about. But I played this before Orcs Die, of course, so... Anyway, as you build turrets need to be defended by walls. Walls add a defense icon above said turrets. Later on, there will also be helper turrets that help the turrets. They basically give like longer range. They heal the turrets themselves using your source or anything like that. The healer ones are not that great, but we'll get into those later. As you keep adding walls, as you can see, there you'll constantly be adding more and more defense to your turret. The larger the wall, the more defense that the turret gets. Like certain walls, like those walls were 2 panels, and with those being 2 panels, they don't increase the turret's health as much as a 3-panel wall will. Determining what you can and can't use also determines basically the level of your defenses, and so it's almost better to use things like gates, like Isaiah is telling us here, and it's better to use gates, and it's better to use 3-panel walls than anything. For now, we won't be needing a gate though, because this basic defense doesn't require one. Wow, your wounds really changed. Look at that. The wounds just keep coming on and off. It's like symptoms of a virus or something. Every 5 seconds, the wounds just come in and out, and in and out, and in and out. That's something Isaiah just said is actually something really good to remember. Locke is not Superman. He's not gonna be able to fight enemies for like ever. He's not that strong. He himself needs the defenses to help defend himself. So sending Locke out, like when you're playing as the game, and sending him like way out in front of turrets where, you know, he can get murdered, that's just stupid. Each battle phase, like the build phase, has a certain amount of time allocated to it. As you constantly go through the battle, it will the timer will go down. I'm sorry, I ate earlier, so now I'm kind of belching. But as the game goes on, the battle phases will get longer and they will get more difficult. If you're wondering how in a game like this the difficulty can raise, you'll see. You will see. The game gets very hard. Especially when you play on the hard mode of the game. Jesus, they send everything at you. Like the hard. If you want to play the game on a good mode, play it on hard. Play through it on first time to get used to all the levels and used to the mechanics. Then play it on the hardest difficulty. My God, will you be ready to wear out? Because that's where the strategy comes in, really determining whether or not how to expand your resources, and it becomes a micromanaging thing where you have to do that. Ratcheting is a system that you have to use later in the game. When you ratchet something, you're basically using a touchscreen mini game to quickly add health to your structures. It's basically the only real way to do it, because if you try to let Locke do it by himself, it's just not gonna work out. I feel sorry for you, my friend. And I know it seems like this part's going on a bit long, that I'm talking about basically the tutorial, but I have to get the tutorial out of the way, or else it's not gonna... I'm gonna have to talk about all this later, and then I'm not gonna be able to talk about the game. I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy the game while I'm commentating over it. Anyway, this is the first true battle phase. As you can hear the music in the background. It's very nice music. I really do enjoy the score of the game, although it gets slightly repetitive by the end. You're not gonna... After about, a month of in-game time, so like 30 days, you probably have heard every track in the game. It's not... The music is good, but they overused a lot of it. They should have added more tunes as the days had gone by, as the game went on. Similar to The World Ends With You, where they added pop, where they had pop in the early week. Then in the second week they added what was the type of what genre would you call that? Techno? I don't know. I guess you could call that techno in the second week, and then they added what is it called, rap in the last week, and all depended on the character that you were with. I also wish that Lux Quest had used a system of character partnering, where you had a partner character with you at all times, who would help you in whatever mission you were in. There are some NPCs that will be in the game that will help you, but they're gonna work off their own AI, and with them working off their own AI, they are kinda dumb. Characters like Isaiah that come up later in the game that will fight with you are very stupid, because a lot of the time they're going to sit there and they're just going to watch you fight. The final battle near the end of the game is a really great example of it. Where Isaiah and another character that we're going to be meeting later on just sat there and watched me fight near the final boss. Hey there, everyone. Alright, I had to take a small little break there in my commentary. Anyway, as we can see, the clockworks do fall apart after a certain amount of time. That's basically, during the game, after the timer runs out, and you hear the 10-second countdown go off, and the big ding at the end, that means that the clockworks are all dead. And that means the battle is over. A lot of the time, that's going to be that 10-second countdown is going to be your cue to go ahead and start running around and grabbing source from any clockworks that are dead in the area, because you're going to want to get that source. Because after that, you go to the build phase, and there is no way to get any type of source during the build phase. I'm absolutely serious. And it's kind of odd that you can't get any source in the build phase. I mean, it's kind of like... I mean, it's just odd. I mean, it really is just odd. And a lot of the time, you're not going to get a lot of source from anything else other than clockwork fights. And, that's a weird looking clockwork, and as is that one. They don't look like the other ones. Are you sure these are Agony's orders? They make no sense. That's the way I always imagine the brute talking. And the knight, they are confirmed. It is not our place to question. I don't know why he has to sound like that in my head, but he does. Then we destroy the village. Assemble our clockworks. The brute should sound a bit more darker than that. Oh crap! What's that guy with the arrow on his back? Well, I'll see you all next time in the next part of Lux Quest. Thanks for watching.